25cc Grand Prix season. Motocross-wise, this is what the standings were like at the end of 93. Pedro Trachter ahead of Yves de Maria, both on Suzuki, of course. Extra pressure for the rider with the number 1 plate?
No, not so much. I think it's very kindly to ride with the number 1, and I'm very happy with number 1, so I want to let the people see what I can do with the number 1 plate. So, and that's winning.
Seems to have the right sort of motivation. Dave Strybos hasn't gone all that well as far as qualifying training is concerned here. Mikhail Pichon up in the top 3 after the first day here. Bob Moore, that number tells it all. Let's hope he can stay fit and out of trouble as we prepare for Heat 1. The first heats of the first round of the World Championship 125cc series as they come up to their first corner. I can tell you, the current world champion has not had a good start. He's way back, but the crowd are going mad because Del Largo, Mauro Del Largo, a local hero, is out there in front leading Bob Moore from the States. And you can hear the hooters going. It's a fantastic day, clear blue skies and a good hard circuit to get everybody's pulse racing for the first event of a long and tough season for the 125cc boys. Whoa, down goes Del Largo. That's the end of his challenge because Bob Moore is going to snap him up. Well, he hasn't. He's managed to hang on to that first place, and Freddie Vial is in second place. But it's going to be pretty tough to get onto the podium here. Just 2 heats in the new format. And that's 30 minutes and 2 laps, and it does allow people a chance to ride up through from the back. And that's exactly what Trachter is having to do now because he started way down on the first lap in 14th position. Nathan Shelton's been having a good race. There he is, the young man from Northamptonshire, number 19, but he's going to be eaten up by the Frenchman, Mikhail Machiot, right now. And there's a bit more eating up going around here too, with a super battle between Bob Moore and Freddie Vial. And Bob Moore goes way past Vial. Strybos not having a good time. Bob Moore moves into the lead on lap 9. He's going to make his presence felt here. Mauro Del Largo, the Italian, still in second. Fred Vial hot on his heels. And fellow countryman Mikhail Machiot in 4th place. Badamane is 5th. And number 9, Pitbire, is 6th place. It's a hard day's outing for Pedro Trachter there because he's had to ride his way up. He's currently in 8th place and on a bit of a charge. But he's got some very good machinery and riders in front of him. Badamane making a good showing. There goes Birra. Alessio Chiodi. Haven't seen much of him. There's Pichon. Here comes Trachter. And he's being chased by Freddie Vial, who won't let him out of his sights. Meanwhile, Chesterfield Team Rinaldi rider Bob Moore is out there having the ride of the season. What a good way to start the season. Out jumping everyone and really enjoying the big Italian crowd here, putting on a little bit of showmanship as well in the new colours for the Yamaha team. Now then, Pedro Trachter has halved the deficit he started out with. He started out as 14th. And this is the man that he was just behind because Marcel van Drunen started at 13th. But this is a good little tussle. Oh, Mikhail Pichon is out of it. And Bob Moore is into it. So, shame for Pichon. Very good in the preliminaries, excellent in the first few rounds, but this is what the result of Heat 1 looks like. Freddie Vial 3rd, Mikhail Machiot, Pichon's countryman, in 4th place. Good showing by the French. Badamane in 5th place. The engine's revving, the brand new aluminium Stargate goes down, and Pedro Trachter loves that one. An excellent start by him. Just going round the outside, keeping out of trouble. We've had no major problems with the starts here in Malpensa, but just 1 or 2 there as I speak. Marcel van Drunen got tied up in that one, and he's away now. And number 11 there is Freddie Vial, so that's a shame for him. But out in front is Trachter, Badamane. And then Bellometti, Kelly Swanson had a good start too. Alessio Chiodi. Nathan Shelton doing so well. I hope Mikhail Pichon hasn't injured his wrist too badly, but Pedro Tracta has made absolutely sure that he's going to pick up some decent points from this second heat of the first round of the World Championships. Manet is going well. Bob Moore trying to cash in on his first heat success, but he's being chased by local hero Alessio Chiodi on the Honda. So at the moment it's Suzuki, then the Honda, and the Husqvarna of the Italian Alessandro Bellometti. Number 34 is running very well at the moment, but he's under a lot of pressure. Bob Moore is not making any impression on Tracta, who is well clear. Badamane is under quite considerable pressure from Alessio Chiodi. Nathan Shelton then. Whoa, and dropping it down is the man I was just talking about on the Husqvarna, and through goes Piperra. And Alessandro Bellometti lost a couple of places there. The current world champion, Pedro Tracta, second place, Bob Moore. Here's your third place man, Manet. And Alessio still keeping him well in sight. But what a great ride by Bob Moore. If he can hang on to this second place, he could clinch the overall for the Yamaha Chesterfield Rinaldi team. He's just got to ride nice and steady and even. Always a colourful sight here in Italy, with perfect viewing conditions, and on a day like this it makes a great day out, doesn't it? And what a great day out Nathan Shelton is having. He's been running in 5th place ever since lap 5, and it doesn't look as if Birra is going to get past him. Checkered flag is out. Those are small checks, aren't they? As we get a wheelie across the line. Tracta gets first place in the second heat. Bob Moore clinches second place, but gets the top spot overall. Let's have a look at the results of Heat 2 then. Chiodi hung on to third place. He did put Moore under pressure, didn't he? Badamane, a great ride in fourth place too. Nathan Shelton, fifth.
I saw Pedro out in front, and he was moving away pretty fast. It took me a while to get behind or get by the two riders that I needed to pass. Once I got by him, I tried a couple laps, but I knew I had the overall championship for today, and it wasn't important for me to go over my head and try to catch him, because he was riding very well, but I also was same pace, so it was no problem.
Tracta back on the podium. He did that a few times last year, didn't he? And here are the standings, of course, that reflect today's overall result. Mauro Dal Lago had such a good first heat, clinched third place overall today in Badamane. Of the year again, when you can never be too sure of the weather, and up here in Normandy, in northern France, Calvados country, some of my favourite parts of France, Sourdeval is the venue for round 2 of the 125cc World Championship Grand Prix Motocross. This is what the standings look like after round 1 in Italy. Bob Moore in the lead, ahead of current world champion Pedro Tracta. Local boy Mauro Dal Lago had a wonderful outing, but just look at the conditions here in France. Very muddy. It's been pouring with rain all night. It really does remind you of the Hippopotamus song down there. Mud, mud, glorious mud. Nothing quite like it for cooling the blood and the motivation and everything else as well. But never mind, there are championship points up for grabs here. And these guys are professional. They're going to go out there and give it their best shot. This man seems to have it well sorted. Gaffer tape on the tyres as Mikhail Pichon, one of the youngest guys on the circuit, gets to the start gate without getting mud on the track of the tyres. Now, let's see who gets the best start. It's not too muddy as they come in there now. And Pichon got a brilliant start, this young 18-year-old. But as they get onto the main part of the circuit, it really does look, as we say in the trade, decidedly iffy. Dave Strybos was left standing at the start gate as the rest of the field screamed away from him. He's up and running now, but he's a long way behind. Then we've got Alessio Chiodi and the other Italian, Del Lago, And finally coming through is Pedro Tracta, number 1, the current world champion. Looking to get points, and Delago's down. And when you get down on the wrong side of a hill here, it really is hard work. And you can see Michael Pichon looking over his shoulder and picking his way very carefully around this home circuit. Chiodi in second place. And amazing, really, that these guys can even attack at each other in these conditions. One little lapse of concentration and you're over. Good riding by Charles Schweber, who, you see what I mean? Dupasquier just devilishly hard to get out of it. Strybos now starting to make his way back up through the field, but it is a real spirit dammer coming from behind, because look at that. Nothing you can do about it, really. So here's Bob Moore in second place. Tractor chasing him hard. They look quite clean from behind. Oh, and Bob Moore's down, and Tractor moves into second. So that's extraordinary. I think Tractor has actually read this race very, very well indeed. And there are little bits and pieces of the circuit that are drying out. But what a fantastic ride by Michael Pichon. The young man who showed so much promise last year, and you know he didn't win a single motor. And look at Tractor, 'tis a rough ride. Bob Moore keeping out of trouble. 51 there is back Marco Goffroy. That is Alessio Chiodi, the Italian, in fourth place. Oh, and teammate Mauro Delago not having a happy day here in France. And I should think he'll give up. Now that's Marcel van Droonen, who is running in about sixth place, and here's Leon Gispers, who's right behind him. And would you be a spectator there? I certainly wouldn't. So the flag comes out, and the Finnish judge nearly goes on his backside as he slips down on the mud there. I know. Although the weather's beautiful, it's such a shame for the sport, isn't it? Michael Pichon, a brilliant ride. Pedro Tractor second. Bob Moore third. Alessio Chiodi fourth. Charles Schweber fifth. The sad thing for Marcel van Droonen was that he had a puncture and lost his rear tyre. And if he'd just carried on as he was, he'd have ended up in, I think, 9th position and scored a few points.
Helemaal achteraan, maar ik heb mij helemaal naar voren gewerkt.
Well, he's telling us it's sad, really. He started off and had to fight his way all the way through the field. And although he got a puncture 3 laps from the end and got a flat, he was still able to ride. But after a while, the tyre came off the rim. There it is. Sad and sorry looking state. And he ended up not scoring any points at all. Fancy a nice day out in the country. Blue skies, sunshine. Ready for the second manche. 30 minutes plus 2 laps. Not everyone wanted this format for racing this year, but that's what we got. So another good start by Pichon and another good start by Tractor, and no obvious problems. What an advantage to be out in front. On home ground, this young man, having just put his first ever Grand Prix moto win under his belt, is out there again, looking for more points at the start of the 125cc Grand Prix World Championship season. Now then, look at that. It's real war out there as Pit Biter goes past us. And there's Tractor doing what he did before. He's starting to just attack gently from behind and choosing the ruts that he wants to ride in. Oh dear, Dave Strybos came 7th in the first heat, and he's blown it again there. He had a lousy start in the first heat as well. And you can see the problems when you run into trouble. Alessio Chiodi having a good ride in second place. There's Tractor, who's moved into third. Teammate Mauro Delago is cruising around. There he is, look. And Marcel van Droonen screams past him as if he's standing still in 4th position now. And you can see there in that rut how there are little dry bits appearing through the mud, and the guys are having to make sure they get onto it. Leon Gispers finding big, deep ruts through there. Be so careful. Look at Tractor, he's going for Chiodi. Wow! Straight past him, rips off another roll-off off the goggles, and up the hill there. Chiodi must have wondered what happened to him, so that means Tractor's in second place now. Chiodi third. Van Droonen, believe me, that is him, although you can't see any of the numbers on his bike. He's in 4th. And then the Italian's doing so well. Fabio Balducci is in 5th position. And that's Freddy Vial, the Frenchman, on the Kawasaki. And Leon Gispers is behind him. Meanwhile, out in front, not looking quite as composed as he was. He looks a bit battle-torn and weary, doesn't he, with bits hanging off all over the place, but he's doing the job. He's out there in front. More bad luck for Marcel van Droonen. You can see him there chasing Giespers. He fell and he lost about 5 places, so we're all wondering what's going to happen team orders-wise, because there's all sorts of pit messages going out, and as Mikael Pichon takes the checkered flag, we find out that Marcel van Droonen was instructed to overtake Leon Giespers so that he got enough points to go to Argentina. Pretty extraordinary stuff. And he ended up in 6th place. So that championship international race, if that makes sense, at Berchem in Holland. Back onto a sand circuit. I love all that. So do the Dutch, of course. These are the standings after round 1. Dave Strijbos narrowly ahead of Jacob Bart. And then behind them, Alwin van Asten, Ton van der Ven and Marco Stolman are tied. Strijbos looking fairly relaxed and comfortable. Jacob Bart, nicknamed Jacob Start because he's one of the fastest starters on the circuit. Remy van Rees will have something to say about that if you're wearing the number 1 plate. You're going to get out there in front. Now, it's a beautifully prepared circuit. This is very fast. And look at Strijbos. He's way out in front there. Number 3 screaming around. Jacob Bart right on his right-hand side. A nice wide funnel as they come around here, so no big pile-ups. Jacob Bart in the red colours of Honda out in front. And look at John van der Berg. He's already powering up through the field. Takes that banking nice and high. Whoa, he nearly blew it then, actually. Nearly went over the handlebars. It shows how fast he was going. And those of you who haven't seen racing from the new 7 Hills, as it's called here in Berchem, and Van der Berg's down. And he's got to extricate himself from that. So right now it's Bart and John van der Berg, Alwin van Asten, Dave Strijbos. Oh, and there's a big pile-up behind that too. Van Asten's blown it. And I think, yes, 2 or 3. Strijbos is down and doesn't look very comfortable. Otherwise, he'd be back up on his bike by now. Have a look at this. Bang, they're coming over, weight back. Just couldn't control the machines, and then they're all piling into each other in the dip there. So John van der Berg takes his Suzuki into the lead, and as I was saying just before that pile-up, those of you who haven't seen any action from the new 7 Hills before, it is fast, and it's exciting stuff here. Marcel van Droonen in 2nd position, so it's Suzuki from Suzuki. And Schaffner, rather unexpectedly for him, I think, in 3rd place. And number 9 there is Marco Super, also on a Honda. Honda's going quite well. So Van der Berg, he's got the balance of it all right now. And he's really jumping and flying high. You can see how beautifully laid out this circuit is here. It really is a prime example of what a motocross circuit should be like, especially a sand circuit. And the crowd's braving a bit of a windy day here to see their stars going. And just out jumping the opposition, Jacob Bart works his way back up through the field, and you could see that in the air. He just out-jumped anyone who was in front of him. A little bit of sunshine now as John van der Berg takes the checkered flag ahead of Marcel van Droonen. Remy van Rees in 3rd place. Jacob Bart managed to get himself up into 4th after the accident. Stouman 5th. Leon Giespers in 6th place. I don't know whether you noticed John van der Berg looking at his foot when he finished that. And here we have a chat with him. He says, yeah, it all went very well, but I had to ride half the race without a back brake. But it's no problem. They didn't come near me. There is the confirmed result of Heat 1. A good outing for John van der Berg, looking very confident. Good outing for Suzuki, isn't it? Look at that. 25 laps plus 1, and they're ready for the up. Oh, and that looks like disaster in the middle of the gate there. I don't know whether you could see it. He's still there now. Jacob Bart got a lousy start. And there's a crash too. None of the major riders involved in that. You can see Bart just accelerating away from our picture there. That crash actually gave us an opportunity to see where he was. An excellent start by Marcel van Droonen. 33 is Alwin van Asten on the Honda as well. Here comes Marco Stolman, Kawasaki, and just going past our picture there once again is John van der Berg. And it's good to see that little battle between Marco Stolman not giving up that easily, is he? So here's Jacob Bart. What a disastrous start for him. He nearly came off his bike at the gate. He just lost it completely, a little lapse of concentration or something. And he's now got to pile his way up through the field. Leon Gispers running in fourth at the moment. And John van der Berg making chase there to Marcel van Drunen. Misses a gear or something. Drunen has blown it, looks back over his shoulder. Van der Berg goes into the lead and screams away from the rest of the field. He's now breathing rarefied air, does a bit of a clicker to the crowd in the grandstand there. This shows you how fast the racing is here at Berchem. So Team Chesterfield Suzuki in second place at the moment. It's a bit muddling. If you saw a number 12 on the back of Marcel van Drunen's riding strip, that's because that's his number, World Championship number, but he's riding with the number 4 here in the Nationals. You can see him going through there. It muddles you, it muddles me as well. And that's his other teammate, Leon Gispers, who he's having a nice little tussle with as well. So Gispers into second place, having a good ride. Drunen seems to have lost it a little bit in this stage. Remy van Ries is starting to work his way back up through the field, passing through some of the back markers there, and you can see the different lines they take. But just have a look at the way this man's riding. Inspired stuff. Leon Gispers now starting to make an impression on him. Two Suzukis, two different teams. Gispers riding for Chesterfield, as I said, and John van der Berg riding for the Constat Carpi team. Comparable machinery, but a lovely, lovely passing move. Quite superb stuff from Gispers. Now then, Remy van Ries is on the warpath, making his way up through the field. Look at that shot back across Berchem. And Van Drunen seems to be just slipping back a bit. I don't know why, maybe he's got a problem. So, Van der Berg having a go, not giving up, tenaciously, and he goes through on the inside. Oh, and that's incredible. Leon Gispers nearly did what John van der Berg did in the same place on the first manche. Nearly went over the handlebars. So he's back in the lead again now. It was a lovely overtaking manoeuvre there. And Gispers obviously just like saw him coming up behind him. And the win goes right at the last minute to John van der Berg from Leon Gispers. Two Suzukis, really giving the crowd some tremendous racing. Remy van Ries working his way back up through the field on the Kawasaki to third. So here's second place Gispers. Yeah, he said I had to work my way up from quite a low position, and I had my sights set on John van der Berg. And I managed to get him and get a bit of a lead, but he seemed to have a bit more speed than me, and he slipped past me and clinched the win. So that means the overall goes to John van der Berg. Remy van Ries second, Marcel van Drunen third, Leon Gispers fourth, Marco Staalman fifth. That's Suzuki, Kawasaki, Suzuki, Suzuki, Kawasaki. And here are the two leaders in the standings. John van der Berg and Jacob Bart tied. Alwin van Asten and Marco Staalman tied for third. And Van Drunen and Leon Gispers tied for fifth. It's close stuff in the Dutch National Championships, isn't it? We take a short break and come back with